Hey everybody, it's Party Elite. Welcome you back to our Planet Zoo franchise mode Let's Play. But we're actually going to back out of this menu for a quick second because, oh my god, how adorable is that? I noticed that when I booted up the game today to record, and I was immediately just like, I need to share this in case folks have missed it. How adorable is that? Folks, I am really excited for the North America Animal Pack. I cannot wait to cover it on the channel. I will be taking the same approach as we've taken in the past with regards to the separate mini-series that covers the animals and talks about all the animals and builds enclosures for them separate from our existing franchise zoos. So you can expect that to sort of release as the DLC releases, you know, the same as we've done before. So I just want to give a heads up on that, sorry. And I also want to mention, if you're planning on picking the North America Animal Pack up, and if you would like to support the channel as you do so, then you might want to check out the store link in the description down below. I don't believe it's available just yet, but it should be available as of launch day. I'll remind you then, but I just thought I'd mention it. But primarily, I wanted to share how adorable this little guy is. How adorable is this guy, right? What a perfect thumbnail here. What a perfect thumbnail. But yes, really excited to cover the North America Animal Pack again, much the same way as we've covered the other animal packs by doing that mini-series. So we will be sort of wrapping up our massive enclosure today at Elite Zoo South. We'll be adding the Nyala, right? And then I think that'll be perfect timing, actually, because next session onwards, we'll be sort of distracted, let's say, by the mini-series for a little bit, by all the new animals. And then when we come back to Elite Zoo South, we'll be able to add in the African elephants, all of the other animals that are left to add, and we'll have our time lapses back. So it's actually really perfect timing in that sort of a way, as it acts like a bit of a chapter marker. But folks, before we actually go into Elite Zoo South, we're going to be going into Elite Zoo North today, because there is, well, one particular thing that I want to touch on, and I think maybe there's a couple of things we could maybe touch on over here. I also, every time I open up that tab for like entering into a zoo, I remember the time that I almost closed Elite Zoo North by mistake. It didn't happen, but it's funny how traumatic a moment that was, that it's still with me to date, and I think it's probably been about a year since that happened, which actually reminds me, we're almost at our 2-year mark, aren't we, with Planet Zoo? Because I think it was November of 2019 that Planet Zoo released, so we're almost at our 2-year mark, which is wild to think about. And I want to say thank you to all of y'all who've been watching along, whether it's been since episode 1 of season 1, or it's been since the beginning of season 2, or, you know, you've been watching and then you went back and watched it, whatever it might be. I just want to say thank you so very much for the support. It is ridiculous to think about, over 200 episodes of Planet Zoo later, we still have so many of y'all coming through, on the regular, checking it out. It really does mean a lot. It's very moving, and it's greatly appreciated. So thank you very much, folks. If you want to keep it going, again, you know what to do. Let me know. Leave a like, leave a comment. It does make a big difference in just, well, you've seen it for yourself. The support for Planet Zoo on the channel is what kept Planet Zoo going, and it's what keeps Planet Zoo going. And on that note, again, I try not to mention this too often, and I didn't want to mention it when my schedule was all over the place, because my schedule was all over the place at the time. But as we return to normalcy in October, I just want to say very quickly, folks, again, if you've been really, really enjoying this series and the content you've been seeing on this channel in general, I humbly request, as before, that maybe you consider becoming a channel member or perhaps a patron. Links to both of those are in the description down below. Again, it is never an obligation. That's why I try not to mention it too often. In fact, I always feel uncomfortable mentioning it, because it's just, I appreciate y'all coming through and watching and commenting and all that stuff. The support through Patreon and through membership does make a very big difference. It does help tremendously, but I never want anyone to feel pressured on that front. But again, just thought I'd mention it. Again, it is the start of the year. Start of the year, start of the month, sorry, and so I thought I'd give it that once in a month mention. But also, we're doing something a little special today that ties into one of the perks, or actually rather, it ties into both of the perks that I have exclusively for channel members and patrons as it pertains to Planet Zoo. We have a special celebration coming up so if you're watching, you know who you are. If you're watching, it is, I would say, your story to share. So feel free to share in the comments. I don't want to overshare, of course, but there is a special request from one of the patrons to get a little gift in the form of a sponsor board and a named staff member. So we're going to do that right off the bat because the name that we're putting in for the sponsor board is tied to the Timberwolves, and it's because there is the sponsor of these Timberwolves that we're adding in today has a favorite toy, which is a little wolf called Wolfie. And let's go ahead and find a good spot for the sponsor board, because we've got I really love the styling of these sponsor boards, so we will maintain the style, but I want to make sure that we've got a good location for it. I feel like this is nice and central. What about up over, oh no, we've got, of course, the sign over here. I do really quite like this this sign. Still one of my favorites, and it actually, talking about how it's been almost 2 years, it's funny to come back here. And this, shortly after that first episode hit 1 million views. Such nostalgia. I think somewhere over here makes the most sense, right? A bit of a central location, because we've already got all this. So why don't we go ahead and start getting some work over here? I'll go ahead and pull this over to right down the middle, maybe, or over here, I think, just because it's the kind of the straightest one, and then we can kind of continue. If more people want to sponsor the Timberwolves, we can add more over here. Let's go ahead and get this down over here. Just want to double check to make sure that it is below the light. Yes, it's been so long since we placed one of these specific ones, so I just want to make sure I got it right. I want to make sure that they match, right? But the name itself, if I can get myself in here, is, and again, it's just this one that we're adding today and one staff member that we're adding today. But if you want to sponsor any animals, or if you want to have a staff member named after, not necessarily yourself, but as a gift like we're doing today, or anything, feel free to let me know. Again, if you're a channel member, you can just leave a comment down below, because I'll see a little icon next to your name, and that'll let me know. But if you're on Patreon instead, sorry for that edit there. That was the perfect time for a sneezing fit, because, they always come at the perfect time. Anyway, as I was saying, if you're a channel member, just leave a comment down below, because I will see a little icon next to your name. But if you are a patron, shoot me a private message on Patreon, and I'll see it there instead. But yes, our name here is Casper Bruce Kelly, and I was given a suggestion that if it's too long, we can use a shortened form, but I think this looks quite nice, actually. I think this looks quite nice. So yeah, let's go with Casper Bruce Kelly. There you have it. A beautiful sponsor board over here. Let's go ahead and get it into its position. There we go. Perfect. Love it. Casper Bruce Kelly, thank you for sponsoring the Timberwolves and for helping make sure that they're well taken care of, well fed, and happy. And boy, are they happy. I miss the Timberwolves. I love the Timberwolves. I'm such a dog person, I'm such a dog person, and it's just one of those things. I'm beaming right now, just being here and just looking at them, even without them being animated or moving around or anything, just puts a smile on my face. I don't know. I'm sure at least some of y'all relate, right? Instant smile. The new place that we moved to has some big dogs, some really big dogs. It has some little dogs as well, but some really big dogs as well. This neighborhood is a very dog-friendly neighborhood. Lots of parks and stuff in the area. And, going out for groceries or for a walk or whatever it might be, always an absolute pleasure, because there's always so many dogs walking about. But folks, that is actually not it for Elite Zoo North. Question for all of y'all. Do we want to? Now, the ultimate decision falls on my hands, of course. I'm going to make the call depending on on a variety of factors. But do we want to come back to Elite Zoo North for this North America pack after we do our mini-series? I'm throwing the question out there, something to think about. There are locations, there are spots, right? We can expand our Americas section over here. We can make the zoo a little bit larger. There is an option, but do not forget the tremendous lag that we face over here, which is why I'm leaning more on the mini-series rather than coming back to Elite Zoo North. Elite Zoo North also is a nice, complete package. It's wrapped up in a nice little bow, squared off, and beautiful. I'm very, very proud of Elite Zoo North. I'm very pleased with it, but I thought I'd get the question out there just to get a temperature check. But with that said, folks, let's hop on over to Elite Zoo South, shall we? I'm glad I edited out the loading. I forgot how long it takes to load in and out of these zoos sometimes. But, it's fun always going back and forth between Elite Zoo North and South just to see how different they are. Elite Zoo North, so geometric, in its overall shape, so boxy and stuff, and leaning very hard on the right sort of direction as far as you come from the entrance and everything's sort of laid out on the right side, whereas with Elite Zoo South we were a lot more measured and balanced. You can see, I think, the experience of working with the game kind of show, and the willingness to take even more risks. Not that we didn't take risks at Elite Zoo North, we took some risks as far as technical capabilities of the game, and that orangutan enclosure will always be top of mind for me. But folks, I want to make sure we get our new name here as well for our caretaker. Again, like I was saying earlier, with being a channel member or patron, you can get names in, you can become a staff member, or you can have a sponsor board as well. But why don't we go ahead and get ourselves Vincent Newverth. You will no longer be that. You will now be Casper Bruce Kelly. There you go. Beautiful. Again, thank you so very much for the support. It really does mean a great deal, and it really does help tremendously, so I appreciate it greatly. But with all that, let's go ahead and look to adding our next animal. Now, again, during the live stream as well, I was it was sort of drilled into the core of my brain that we have, and I'm going to double check now, but I believe we have Nyala in our reward center, don't we? Did I already send it to the storage? I think I might have. Where is our Nyala? Let's go ahead and search for the Nyala. We have Eben here. Yes, okay, excellent. And actually, I believe we received Eben relatively recently, right? But let's go ahead and, before I even forget, we have a female. Good to know. Let's send you to the zoo, because she doesn't actually have to go to quarantine or anything, I believe, at least, because she's a reward, right? So let's send her directly to Nyati Plains. And as that's happening, why don't we go ahead and pop open the Zoopedia over here and take a look at the Nyala. Again, folks, this is it's an interesting episode because if I've got my dates right, if I've got my math right, then like I was saying earlier, this will be the last animal we're adding to this enclosure. Then we're going to have our mini-series for the DLC, and then when we come back, we start doing new enclosures and stuff, and time lapses will be back, beauty passes will be back, all that kind of stuff. So perfect timing in many ways. Worked out better than I expected. But the Nyala, the Tragelaphus angusil, Angusi? Yeah, sorry, I read that second I as an L there. Now, I've been told to hurry along with Zoopedia entries. I'd love your feedback on that. I like to talk about what we're reading. Maybe I do it a bit too much. I'm always open to feedback, but let me know what you feel, by the way, folks, so I can adjust moving forward. The Nyala, least concern. First of all, I'm just skipping sections now. They're of least concern, so that's good to see. Population wild is 32,000, and I'll be frank with you, I've never heard of the Nyala before I saw them in this game. The Nyala, or Tragelaphus Angasi, is a secretive antelope that lives in the thick undergrowth of the... Sorry, it's secretive, that's why I've never heard of it. They're doing a good job. It's a secretive antelope that lives in the thick undergrowth of the southeastern African savanna. They are sexually dimorphic, with males much larger than females. The former has a dark gray shaggy coat, yellow legs, and twisted yellow-tipped horns, whereas the latter are tan in color. And also, I guess, does it not have yellow legs or twisted horns, I would assume, based on what we saw of the female Nyala. They do look very, very different. Again, sexual dimorphism just means that the male and females look distinct. Both sexes also have vertical white stripes on their back. Males measure between 3 feet and 3.6 feet tall, 4.5 feet to 6.5 feet long, and weigh 215 to 275 pounds. Females are between 2.5 and 3 feet tall, 4.5 to 6.5 feet long, and weigh between 110 and 150 pounds. Huge discrepancy. The species is not endangered, but numbers are decreasing and populations are threatened by human expansion. This is causing loss of habitat as land is changed to urban areas or farmland. They are also vulnerable to diseases spread by domestic livestock. Many Nyala live in protected areas and nature reserves that afford them some level of safety and protect their habitat, although poaching still does occur. Really? Just like anything with a horn gets poached, eh? It's just like that. It's just like that, is it? Man. Okay. Natural habitat. very small, actually. And I imagine it's been, actually, this raises an interesting question that hasn't occurred to me before. But when the game says natural habitat, does it mean what the natural habitat should be, or what the natural habitat is limited to? And you know what? I would actually like to see both on the map. Now that I'm thinking about it, I would love to see, because again, if this is a game that focuses on conservation and the conversation around conservation, then I think it would be very poignant to be like, the natural habitat is, let's say, I'm being hypothetical here, these aren't facts, I'm just drawing arbitrary lines. The natural habitat is this area, but the actual habitat is, this area, what you're seeing here, because that way we can really see how much of an impact, urbanization or more farmland or whatever it is, human encroachment has had, or just climate change or whatever it might be, how much of an impact it's made, because you're comparing the natural habitat, which should mean where the animal would naturally, prosper, versus its actual habitat. Now, it gets a little weird because, the implication of a natural habitat is where they live naturally out there as opposed to in captivity, I assume. But smarter minds than mine can figure out the verbiage and how to phrase it. But either way, they are grassland and tropical friendly. I believe it was brought up that we might have some trouble with their vegetation, but no, grassland will overlap with grassland, and we should be fine with the Nyala. Species data, group size 1 to 5, up to 1 male, up to 4 females. Good, we've got the 1 female, we'll just need a male. Male bachelor group size is 1, really, solo, completely. And female bachelor group size is 1 to 5. Dominance, none. Really? These guys are full of surprises. No dominant system at all. You'd expect normally, and I've said it a few times over the last couple of Zoopedias, when we see 1 male and X number of females, it's like, oh, okay, male dominant system, but no dominant system here. Mating system is polygynous, of course, and relation with humans is shy, and guests cannot enter the habitat. I'm still, shocked to the dominant system. Size, again, average male is 3.3 feet tall at the shoulder, whereas females are 2.6 feet tall at the shoulder. Life expectancy average is 16 years for either, and weight difference is huge. The average male is 245 pounds, and the average female is 140 pounds. It feels huge. Again, pounds, like I've said countless times, means nothing to me. Age of sexual maturity is at 1.5 years. Sterility is at death. Offspring per mating event is 1. Gestation of 7 months. Interbirth of 12 months. And reproduction in captivity is very easy. Very curious to see how their babies look. Male and female, and if the difference, like when does the difference start to appear, right? I'm very curious about that. Social needs. Female Nyala live in small groups with their offspring and forage through the undergrowth together. Adult males are solitary, living alone except for during the mating season, when they temporarily join a female herd. Interesting. And then they just go off on their own again. So this group size, I guess, must be specifically in captivity, because I guess in the wild, they're never in a group. It's always a male roaming around and a bunch of females, and then the male will come through, hang out, leave when he's done, and move on. That's so interesting. Okay. Reproduction. During the mating season, a male will join a female herd, courting the females by approaching them with his head and horns bowed down in a non-threatening posture. It's possible that multiple males may often try to join the same female herd, and if so, this will result in a performative display. Males circling each other and making their hair stand on end while holding their tails and horns up high in order to make themselves look as big as possible. If this results in a stalemate, the males will fight and the victor will remain with the female herd, mating with the individuals if they are receptive. The mother will give birth to a single calf after a 7-month pregnancy, and the calves will remain close by until they are around 18 months old, at which point the males will leave and become solitary. Females remain with their mother's herd. This is nice because we can actually cycle males like we often do. We can cycle males, except it feels a bit more natural, I guess. But it is funny, like the order of this phrasing is a little funny, because it's like, if there's a stalemate, the males will fight, and the victor stays with the female herd, mating if they're receptive. It implies like you don't know if they're receptive until after you've won the fight. So can you imagine fighting a brutal battle, winning, all bloodied up and scarred up, and you win, and it's like, but the females are not interested. It's like, well, tough. So I doubt that's how it actually works, I imagine. But it's pretty funny to think about. I do like this. I like this entry a lot. It's I wish we had more descriptive mating ritual, descriptors and stuff. I do find that stuff very very interesting. How it works in different animals. you know, like the kangaroos and how they fight, for example. Anyway, research status, of course, we've got nothing. I believe all of the enrichment stuff is the same. So, you know, there's that. We'll get some more food, obviously. And then interspecies enrichment, they get along with the southern white rhino, which is the only animal in here that they get along with. Every other animal they'll be fine with. They won't mind each other. They'll be fine. They'll be okay. All right. I feel like that was the quickest reading of Zoopedia yet. Hopefully that works. Hopefully y'all are pleased with the balance I'm trying to strike there, and hopefully I can actually find the animal trade. So I want to mention really quickly, actually, during our trade session, we managed to crack 100,000 conservation credits. And for those of you that missed the trade session, I think we did a wonderful job. We got the bears, tapirs homes, the West African lions. I think almost all of them that we put up for trade got homes, and you can see some decent prices as well. Again, not too expensive, not too cheap either. We got a lot of our dingoes, some new homes, our giant anteaters. Again, bears, tapir, I already mentioned. The western lowland gorilla, I believe we still have, oh yeah, and a lot of Nile monitors have been traded out as well. Some cheetahs, jaguars, the giant tortoises, more dingoes, red kangaroos, southern cassowaries, the lots and lots of cheetahs, and West African lions too. So yeah, it was a very successful trade session. Again, thank you all for coming out. Whether you came out live to, you know, hang out or participate in the trading, or whether you came through to watch the VOD, either way, thank you very much for coming through. But I think we did quite well. A huge reduction in the number of animals that we're just keeping around. And you know what we're going to do? We're actually, I think, going to... Hold on, let me compare mates over here really quickly. Are you... there is some risk of inbreeding over here. I think we'll... I think we'll send our males out to the wild. And then the southern cassowaries as well. Send them all out to the wild. For some reason, our snow leopard here, I think we must have paid cash for them, which is why we can't trade them out. And our Nile monitors over here as well. Why don't we go ahead and release them to the wild? Because the trade session was supposed to be a bit of a reset. I think we reset as much as we could have. And I think it's a good idea to do this. Oh my god, it hurts though. It's difficult. It's not easy. Every one of these clicks is hurting more and more, but I think it is the right call here. Louisa, you as well, I suppose. You're moving to Nyati Plains. Get all of you. Don't we actually want to keep you around? I guess not. You know what? The decision's been made. We're going to go ahead and send everybody off, except for Red 5, obviously. And the ones that can't be sent off. Actually, I think I should be able to release you to the wild. We can't trade you, but we can release you to the wild. Another 6,000 conservation credits. Am I worried about anything? We've got these guys as well. And unfortunately, we weren't able to trade everybody out. As nice as it would be to trade everybody out, we weren't able to. And so, as a part of the reset over here, let's go. Man, it does hurt. It does hurt to click. And it does hurt to say goodbye. But they'll be happy in their new homes. There it is. Funny to see that slowly tick up. All right, cool. Now we have a lot more conservation credits. That I think we have way more conservation credits than we'll ever need. Why are you still here? Oh, you know what? I guess we can't release them to the wild either. Even though it's lit up. Weird. Okay, let me try this. Snow leopard, ringtail lemur, and cheetah. Release to the wild. Says I can. Let's go for it. Make nature happy. All right, back to animal trading then. Over to the animal market. We're going to go ahead and... Hold on. Okay, good. I do still have red 5. I got nervous for a second there. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the Nyala. And get ourselves a male. Oh, are you serious right now? I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Well, we can get another couple of females at least. Can I... Where's my refresh button? It's funny. We've been talking about this quite a bit about how bad the market's been lately. And when I say lately, I mean for like the last year. And you know what? I kind of don't want to pick any of these Nyalas up either. Because we have one with such amazing stats. Why would I want to potentially sully the gene pool, as it were, right? I have this golden opportunity to produce some high-quality Nyalas and put them out in the world. Why would I risk that opportunity? Yeah, let's leave that out for now. I'm gonna go ahead and unpause and let's get our one Nyala in at least. And while that's happening, I think we can also start to concern ourselves with the hard shelter that I wanted to build over here. Now, I think largely we will do it in a time lapse, but I want to try and maybe get a bit of the construction in today. And I think, like I was saying earlier, I think I want to reserve the return of the time lapse to after the after we look at the new DLC. But we can definitely at least get the skeleton of our structure here done. Do I want it to be the Australian log? Nah, I think I want to do these logs, or maybe these logs. Oh, nope, definitely these ones are more fitting. Now again, what I was planning on doing, I don't think any of these guys can climb. Well, I think any of these guys can climb, so we'll be okay doing something like this, where we have... I'm hoping this works out. I don't know if this is the material I'll be using, or if I'll do something a bit more modern. But basically, we'll have kind of like what we did for the Southern White Rhino in our DLC showcase, where we had... like thatched roofing and stuff, and they could kind of like tuck underneath it. Except what I would like to do is I would like to make sure that guests are actually able to peek in. I don't know if I want to do a glass roof. I feel like that would be really hot, right? But if we do like this kind of a thing, and you can see, I guess, how I, or what I have to deal with in during a time lapse in terms of how slow it can move sometimes. Go ahead and get you all the way up to there. You know what I actually could do with this is I could actually have it carry over beyond the walkway over here and actually provide some shade. That might be nice, actually. We'll see about that. I'm not sold on that just quite yet. Looks like our Nyala has arrived, as well as our black Wildebeest over here. Black Wildebeest? Is it? No, sorry. Yeah, black Wildebeest. Okay. Oh, I thought I was mixing up my African buffalo and black Wildebeest descriptors. There's our female Nyala. Look out! There's a box coming. Oh, jeez. Oh my god, the size difference. Wow, that really puts things into perspective, eh? The size difference. Oh my god. But let's quickly take a look and see if I can... At this point, well, first of all, let's see how you're feeling. I'm sure you're plenty pleased. Enough space. Again, not enough hard shelter. All the terrain stuff is fine. Vegetation is looking fine, apart from the couple of like the birch tree like scratching and thing and all that kind of stuff. But what am I looking for? Animal trading. Animal market. Nyala? Males? No, nothing. I got nothing. Come on. But right, so what was I thinking here? I was thinking this, and we'll get like another one of these. Like where? Somewhere. Maybe like over here. Like so. Come on. And let's go ahead and duplicate you over to roughly hereabouts. We can actually pause, because it's not like the market is tied to real-time movement, and kind of like pull this up this way. I wonder if we go another one, maybe. Right, and then what we do is get this guy coming around this way. If I could, like so, maybe up a little bit, and hook these guys up. I might want to put like a log down somewhere here as well to provide some support, or to make it, look like it's got some support. Let's go ahead and extend this as far as it'll go. Again, this is not what I'm planning today. Isn't like I think a time for a time lapse. So I just like to get the plans down today, and we can see how we feel about it. I would love to get some like feedback and thoughts on it. But of course, getting it lined up is always a good time. Let's see, can we make this? How easy are you gonna make my life here? Oh, you know what? Actually, very easy. That worked out quite nicely, actually. I could get rid of this. I kind of like the idea of it going all the way to the edge, but I could get rid of that one, and or if not get rid of it, then I could kind of tuck it in so it looks like it's a bit shorter like that, right? So if you're coming up over here, or rather if you are up over here, then you've got a clear view of these animals hiding in this massive hard shelter area. If you're coming down this way, you have a clear view as well, right? All the way down, you'll have a clear view. Okay, excellent. Down over here, you'll have a clear view as well. I think this works quite nicely. Obviously, I'm actually going to build the shelter part of it. Otherwise, what's the point? But I think in terms of the shape of it and the overall form of it, I think it works quite nicely. Go ahead and get you set up over here. And then hopefully once we're done this, we'll actually have access to a male Nyala as well. I would like to complete the bringing in of animals, and then hopefully we'll get some research complete as well, so we can get our researchers working, our vets working on the next bit of animal research. And of course, with the new DLC, we'll need our mechanics to potentially do some research as well, though not at Elite Zoo South, I suppose, technically. Yeah, you know what? I feel like, I wonder if, well, these guys will need to add more. If we do this kind of a thing where you go up, oh yeah, okay, this is where it becomes challenging. See, because if we do want it to, okay, I gotta check something. You know what might not work? The hay might not work. Not the hay, but the, where's my habitat if I go to bedding? Yeah, see, because this doesn't rotate on all axes. And this is, again, it's one of those things that, like, I wish the game, like, why does it not? Why can't I just, for the sake of decoration, do that? But I don't think I can do... Thatch roof will look bad. I could do grass like I've done before, right? Okay, not that. I was wondering if there was like a different option. Whoops. Like we've done, I believe, the cassowaries. We've used the thatch roof for. That doesn't necessarily work over here. We used grass for thatch roof in the past. I'm trying to remember exactly where we did it, so I can kind of have like a, I guess a point of comparison or just a reference of like how it might end up looking. But I feel like it was maybe during one of our DLC miniseries instead. Like it looks okay. I know we did it for something at Elite Zoo North as well, but it would be kind of like I think it was the reeds that we used, right? And we would line it up like this kind of. Oh, you know what? Actually, doesn't look too bad. Oh yeah, you know what? You know what? That actually doesn't look too bad at all. Do we have anything? No, I think our first pick was the best one. Like that, the coloration is actually quite nice. And oh damn, you know what? This looks a lot better than I expected. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was really expecting this to look bad, but a little happy little accident, I suppose. Good stuff. All right, cool. You know what? Fair enough. There it is. Well, there's our answer. And again, like sometimes I like to do what might be a time lapse in real time, only because I feel like it's a different viewing experience. And maybe I'm wrong, but I think personally, at least, I would enjoy having a mix of the two. Sometimes seeing the end result and hearing the shorter level, I guess, thoughts, and sometimes hearing the deeper like thought process and seeing just you know what it involves sometimes, the oh no's and the oopses, because I feel like a lot of the time, yeah, I talked about this recently during the live stream and stuff about how, you know, that episode 1 hit 1 million views, and I talked about how like I remember starting it off and being very nervous about like, oh, you know, will people enjoy this, etc., etc. And one of the things that I forgot to touch on, and I wanted to touch on, one of the things I touched on is something I touch on often, but maybe I've not given this personal anecdote. But when I did that first episode, one of the things that I was most worried by was how long it seemed to be taking me to do anything. I was like, oh man, I'm not moving as quickly, my time lapses aren't as like smooth while I was recording them, you know, before the time lapse effect has actually been applied. And it was making me so like concerned. I was like, oh boy, who's gonna sit down and watch this? I'm doing such a bad job, and you know, all the usual stuff. Story of my life, by the way. This is how I am. But then, you know, I actually got everything in place, and I actually did the sped up timing. And what was happening was I was comparing myself to footage I've seen of Planet Coaster, for example, and how quickly people work and how quickly they customize and how it seems like they always have the answer and they know exactly what they're looking for, and oh my god, it's so smooth, how do they work so quickly? And that's what I was comparing myself to. And then I realized that, like, even though I knew the logic behind a time lapse, like I've worked in video for a very long time, right? Even before the YouTube channel, I've worked in video. I understand how time lapses work. I understand the kind of impression they can create. And despite that, I kind of like worked myself up, being like, oh man, how am I doing so poorly compared to all these other folks who I understand, you know, they've been doing it for so much longer. That's why they're so much better, and you know, this, that, and the other thing, and they are. Don't take this the wrong way. Like there's some absolute artists out there, but a lot of the things that I was being critical over, like on myself about, turned out to be only relevant when you're watching things in real time. And a lot of the time I get questions of like, oh, how are you so good and this, that. And first of all, thank you. I appreciate it. It feels awkward even to repeat the compliments. I always get awkward around compliments, but thank you very much. I appreciate it. And the fact of the matter is, you know what? It takes a lot of patience. A lot of mistakes are made during the building process, but you don't notice them because they go by in a flash. And it all looks so much easier than it actually is. And just sometimes, I like to do these in real time to I don't know, remind people of that, or to share that aspect or element, or however you might want to put it. Just that, it's not super quick. So if you're feeling down on your creations, or you're feeling like you're missing the mark or something like that, then maybe reconsider how much time you're spending versus how much time other people are spending. And that's not to say that, oh, you should spend more time. That's not what I mean. What I mean is, like, are you comparing apples to apples, or are you comparing apples to ping pong balls? Like, people like to say, well, even that's bad. Are you comparing apples to, I don't know, staircases? Anytime someone says we're comparing apples to oranges, this is like, they're both fruit though. They're very similar. They're both fruit. They both serve certain biological, functions in like natural functions in the world. They're both relatively round and spherical, on average. I mean, like, I've never liked that turn of phrase, because like apples and oranges are a lot more comparable. Like, than not. You could compare apples and oranges. You can't compare apples and staircases outside of saying they're completely different. So anyway, sorry, I digress. My point is, not to say like, oh, you should be spending longer or anything silly like that, but it's just to say, like, hey, look, if you feel like, if you're wondering how come your thing's not looking like something you saw in a time lapse, and you feel like it should, and you're feeling down on yourself because of it, don't, because time is often going at 6 times speed. So things feel like they're going a lot smoother, a lot faster. You're not necessarily catching all the mistakes and the hemming and hawing and the minor adjustments and all that little stuff. So yeah, it's just again, it's come up every once in a while, and I felt the same way myself when I first started doing Planet Zoo, and I just thought it would be nice to include these every once in a while. And it's been a while since we've actually done it. I've wanted to. But it's been a while since we've actually done it, so I figured today would be a great opportunity. And you can see, I mean, it's a very simple detail getting these roofs down. Getting this roof down. But we were lucky this time that a solution came to us rather quickly. The solution was very forthcoming. A lot of the time, finding the solution is what takes the most amount of time. But yeah, this has worked beautifully. Actually, I'm really pleased with this. And now it's just a matter of the more mundane element of it, the more the repetitive element of it, which is actually that placing all the pieces and stuff. But yeah, that takes time, and when you take the time to do it, it makes a world of difference in the end result. Let's go ahead and redo that. There we go. Just want to pull this out a little bit. There we go. So close. There we go. I wonder if the animals will see this as a hard shelter. They should. I mean, it's not technically hard, but it will protect you from rain. This kind of like thatching and stuff will protect you from rain. But I do hope they see it as hard shelter. And I actually am, apart from the tiling, which, what are you going to do? Apart from the tiling, though, I'm really actually quite pleased with that. We could break up the tiling probably if we get some maybe. Oh, you know what might be a problem is if they don't like the vegetation, the type of vegetation it is. We're doing cattail reeds, right? This is not in Africa. Oh no. Please don't be upset. Looks like we're okay. Great. Okay, excellent. I was hoping it was maybe high enough that they wouldn't mind, but you'll get like stuff falling down. I need to be careful about how much more I add. I was thinking maybe we add some vines, or maybe we add a different type of reeds to just like break it up a little bit. But again, I don't want to upset the animals or anything, right? Just for my visual satisfaction. I could try and, okay, let's try this real quick. Just to see if it's worth it. I mean, it does break up the color a little bit, but I don't think it's worth it, no. All right, cool. And let's go ahead and get some bedding as well. And of course, I want to get the logs settled down over here too. Want to make sure these guys are actually supported, right? Looks somewhat realistic at least. I mean, you can make a cantilever, I believe is the word, right? We can like add a support over here instead, and this would still look natural. Maybe I would prefer that. Nah, you know what? I think this calls for a good old-fashioned support. Go ahead and turn off the snapping. Oh, and another thing that helps is just knowing the shortcut keys will speed things up so much, so very much. This is true beyond Planet Zoo. This is true for anything else. Again, graphic design and stuff was my bread and butter back in the day before the YouTube channel was became full-time. And shortcut keys are just lifesavers. Goes beyond video games. Go ahead and add this one over here. And why don't we go ahead and first of all delete this guy down here and see just how high we need this to be. There you go. Unpause now. We'll get some bedding in as well, but first I want to check again animal trading. Come on, give me a male Nyala. There we go. Rudo. Oh, good stats, decent stats. A Swad, decent stats as well. Bad stats up here. Let's see, Rudo or a Swad. Let's go with a Swad, I think. Wait, actually. Yeah, let's go with a Swad. Adopt you from Worldwide Wild, and let's go ahead and send you over to our quarantine. Oh no, the timing. Pause. I thought I tackled all that already, but I guess not. Where is my quarantine? There we go. Just a little too high. Over to quarantine with you. And over to Loana here. Just in time to stop you. Great. I don't normally pause, but I figured I was in the middle of something. I didn't want to, again, pressing escape takes some time and all that stuff takes some time. Stop it! Stop it, YouTube. Stop. Stop. Get. Oh. Get. Yeah, alright, we're good. Yeah, okay, so weird question maybe, but again, I feel like some of y'all in the comments will have the answer to this. But how do contraceptives work for animals? Does it prevent copulation in general, or is it purely, does it just prevent? I guess with animals it's like animals don't really, like, typically, not always. Animals don't typically mate unless the female's an estrus, right? And so I guess if the contraceptive stops that from happening, then you won't get mating either, right? That's my assumption. I have no idea how contraceptives work for animals, and I don't know if male contraceptives, because in the game, of course, you can apply contraceptives to males and females, but I don't know if it's exclusive to one or the other in zoos, either in practice or in theory, right? Like, can you do one or the other or both, or I don't know what the limitations are. Oh man, dude was lying down. I was really hoping to zoom in time, but I guess not. Low welfare for some of our llamas. A little bit of stress over here. What's going on, buddy? Why are you guys stressed out? Why are you stressed out? Social stress. Is this the crowd? Maybe. I don't know. That's weird. Overlapping education speakers. I think that's just because people are standing. You know what? Fine. I can reduce this one a little bit. I think a lot of people are standing in two at the same time. And vet research complete over here. On which animal? The aardvark and the meerkat have seen some progress. Good stuff. They were added at roughly the same time. Well, actually, they were added at exactly the same time as far as being paused and unpaused is concerned. So, hopefully, we'll see them get completed soon. On here, Springbok is expecting offspring. Sorry. Looking pretty good. Oh yeah, there he is. No, don't get up. No. Damn it. I wanted to catch him having a little lie down. That was so cute. Rhinos are super fun. Look at that. How are you not terrified just being next to this thing? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, that thing's massive. I'd be worried it would just like step on me by mistake. It's not that big, but you know what I mean. Give me a gentle, loving nudge even, and potentially crush a rib, you know? It begs the question, do animals know their own strength? You know, if you're a caretaker for a rhino, does the rhino realize that it might kill you by mistake in an instant? I don't know. Alright, let's go ahead and get a swad in here. And then we'll see, you know what, actually with this as well, yeah, it's missing something, it needs something. I think it's the tiling texture that's killing me. I wonder if... I feel like we do need to break it up. I wonder if... Try something here. Let's try something here. Can we... Whoops. I think I'm missing one. Just an experiment anyway first. Can we move these guys below? Oh, yeah, I think that's a bit better. You know what? Yeah, I think that's a bit better. And let's actually have some of these guys come through like this. Yeah, okay, this is going to be much better. And again, this is what I mean, right? Sometimes you think something's done, you come back and add the finishing touches much later. God knows we've done it multiple times at Elite 2 South and North. Kind of my MO, nothing's ever complete, I say all the time, right? Always room for improvement, and I actually quite like this one. This one's quite big. I think that's our Nyala arriving. I'll lower you a bit. Come on. There we go, there we go. Now, can I actually... this group? There, beautiful. I'm gonna go ahead and pause for a second. Just so we can get this done a bit more quickly. And we can take a look at our new animal. Cool, and we can like add like another diagonal if we want to or something. I mean, this is looking very good already. I'm pleased with this at least. Let's go ahead and add actually something like this, I think. Like that. Perfect, and let's go ahead and get rid of the extra ones on the end here. Think I should be able to pull this guy up a little bit. There we go. Much better. I feel like it could still use a bit of love, but I feel like that's much better. Significantly so. Where is our male Nyala? There we go. Oh, look at that. Look at that run. Look at that run. Beautiful. Saying hi. They actually do... Wait, no. Oh my god. Like, see what I mean? Like, that would have knocked that little kid out, right? I really like... Look at that. Look at that form. Oh my god. I was really enraptured by the run animation. I was like, this is beautiful. I don't want to capture it. And I'm glad we caught it. I wish I caught it up in the... up on the ground level, you know, rather than down over here. But it is what it is. What are you doing, buddy? Just hanging out down here? Such a beautiful animal. And look at the coat, right? Just look at the decorative element. That's all you can call it. It's decoration. Dangerous. How did you escape? Back in here. Low welfare. We got some stressed animals. Why are these guys stressing out now? What has changed? Meerkat's stressing out. Is Gazelle stressing out? I'm stressing out. Where's our buddy here? Done running? At least we know all the animals could fit in here. It's funny to think that we almost... Oh my god, these are huge. It's funny to think we almost expanded the size of this enclosure, but yeah, it turns out we really didn't need to. Checking out the waterfall. I'd like to see him run again. I do think we need maybe more keepers over here. It's been pointed out that we need maybe more keepers to bring more food over here, especially because there's so many animals. We might need more trays, sure, but it doesn't matter if you have no keepers to fill those trays up, right? That's definitely something to consider as well. make sure when the research gets done we actually catch it. Don't want to miss it. Would like to get to some fun facts today. And I believe we actually have quite a few, seeing some progress here. There's the Meerkat. Okay, beautiful. Let's go ahead and probably want to assign that. I just want to catch another run, especially in this beautiful lighting. Come on. Oh my, this is beautiful though. Just the silhouette. So many animals in this enclosure. I'm really happy we went with this rather than give everybody an individual space. This is such a lively enclosure, you know. Different from anything we've done. Different from anything we've done. And what a fascinating animal, honestly. Look at the stripes, the dots, the... Like, I wonder now, I'm curious, I want to look this up, but it has a lot of the, you know, a lot of typical African motifs in art, right? Like a lot of the shapes and stuff. I wonder if this is what it's inspired by. Oh, it's our time to zoom away, give him some privacy. But I wonder if that's the inspiration, at least partly, right? That would make sense. Curious. I am going to look that up. That's very curious to see it happening in nature like that. Makes sense, but still curious to see. Let's go ahead and take a look at our zoo here. Let's take a look at our vet research. Ooh, looks like more work done for the aardvark as well. But the Meerkat, which evidently had less research required, is done. Before we get into that, let's go ahead and get who? Let's get Lucy Meg working on the sable antelope. And we'll wait for some more to feed up. Because again, we need the vets to actually keep an eye on animals as well and make sure that they're not falling ill and things like that, right? Go ahead and take a look at the Meerkat. Oh. Fun facts. Where are we? Research status. Let's go. Fun fact number 1. The teeth and front claws of the Meerkat are adapted for digging, and it can close its ears and nostrils to prevent dirt from entering them. Pretty cool. It's like, you know, the, what's it called? The nictating membrane, the third eyelid that can help cover your eyes, but keep you seeing. I guess it's like that except for noses and ears. And I think a lot of animals that burrow have that for their nostrils. Didn't know that about their ears, but nostrils I think for sure. Fun fact number 2, meerkats will mob and sometimes kill snakes that enter their territory. Seeing small animals take care of snakes as always. I've seen a lot of rabbits videos, not in real life. I've seen a lot of rabbits, especially mama rabbits, absolutely punish snakes for getting too close. You do not want to get kicked by the back legs of a rabbit. I'm very fortunate that Elizabeth absolutely adores both myself and Miss Elite. But I've seen her jump tremendous heights from a standstill, and every once in a while, if a rabbit's upset, like for example, you know, if even the smallest bit of upset, if they want to like have a snack and you don't give it to them because it's unhealthy or whatever, like they like sweet stuff, like a lot of fruits, but you can't give them too much because it's bad for their health. Carrots, for example, you can't give them too much carrots and stuff. So you know, if she gets upset, Elizabeth, what they do is they thump their feet. They flick their feet at you. Thumping is a concern for danger, but they flick their feet at you as they walk away from you. They're flicking you off basically, which I find hilarious. The parallel there, but the sound it makes. And I've heard her thump once or twice when she's had like a nightmare. Anytime we like move to a new place, it hasn't happened this time, but when we moved to our old new place, she got a little jittery, and I've heard her thump, and it is loud. You'll be in another room and you'll be able to hear it, and you go like, what was that? What fell? Those back legs are strong. Anyway, sorry, I digress. I'm talking about rabbits. We're looking at meerkats, but it's funny for me to think about, you know, small, adorable animals that are just absolutely pummeling these extremely threatening animals. You know, it's a lot of fun to think about. In some areas of South Africa, meerkats are kept on farmland to act as pest control due to their ability to effectively kill rodents and pest insects. That's very cool functionality for them, man. Fun fact number 4, meerkat females have a hierarchy of social rank, with the oldest and largest female usually assuming the role of alpha. Now, I believe that's in the general rest of the Zoopedia entry as well, so a little unfortunate, a bit of a repeat fact there, but still, it is very interesting to hear about social hierarchy like that in animals, and then the meerkats especially, where they're like constant fighting with the mother to try and, with the matriarch to try and usurp their position. I think is fascinating and interestingly human in many ways. Fun fact number 5, meerkat packs have sentries that give alarm calls to warn their packmates of different predators. And we're aware of this. We've seen it happening visually, but there's evidently I can't remember anymore. There's a fascinating difference between the different alarm calls for the different predators, so you know exactly what's coming for you and when. But folks, what's coming for us right now in this episode is the end of it. This is what we're going to call it. Our enclosure over here, after many episodes, is finally done. I'm looking forward to diving into that new North America Pack DLC, and I'm looking forward to diving into the handful of remaining animals we have to add in at Elite Zoo South. It's going to be very exciting, folks. I hope you enjoyed this session. If you did, again, you know what to do. Let me know by leaving a like and a comment down below. It makes a massive difference in how I approach content on the channel, what I do more or less of, how I go about doing it. Again, you all know the drill by now. Again, as I mentioned, if you've been really enjoying the series, don't hesitate to let me know by leaving... Sorry. It's all thrown off. It's been a year, folks. I can't believe it's October. What I was saying was if you've been really enjoying the series, you might want to consider becoming a channel member or patron. Links to both of those are, again, in the description down below. And if you would like to take advantage of the Planet Zoo-related perk of naming a staff member or getting a sponsor board up either at Elite Zoo South or North, let me know. Leave a comment if you're a member, or shoot me a private message if you're a patron. Shoot it on Patreon, and I'll get right to it. We'll hopefully add those in maybe the episode after the DLC miniseries is done, or perhaps the episode after that. But we'll look to get those in ASAP. But until next time, folks. Again, and as always, a massive thanks goes out to all of the channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Y'all keep us alive and running smoothly. And of course, a big old thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.